REDTIGER's 4K Starvis 2 touch model versus the F7NP. And the real question is whether the pricier one actually earns it, because both shoot 4K up front and 1080p in back, with the same night sensor and the same free card. The difference is the touchscreen and voice control, and people do complain about the rear camera at night on both, so paying more only makes sense if you'll use those controls. By the end, you'll know which one fits you. Let's break it down. Let's start with the thing you're actually buying a Dashcam for, which is whether the footage is usable when something goes wrong. Up front, both of these are strong. Same Starvis 2 sensor, same 170-degree front lens, and people who own either one keep saying the same thing, that plates and road signs stay readable at night without headlights blowing out into white blobs. That's the part that decides an insurance claim. But here's where I'd pump the brakes on the 4K label. Plenty of owners of the F7NP argue it's upscaling from 2K rather than capturing native 4K, which mostly means bigger files without extra detail. If you're the kind of person who cares about that on paper, know it going in. In practice, both look sharp enough for evidence. The rear camera is the honest weak spot on both, since it's 1080p and it struggles with glare and red taillight reflections at night, so rear plates aren't a sure thing in bad lighting. Sharp video is worthless if the camera quits on you in August, which brings us to how these hold up. Both use a supercapacitor instead of a lithium battery, so they handle a baking dashboard far better than older cams. Where I see a difference is in the ownership stories. The F7NP has been around a lot longer, and there are people running it 2.5 years with no drama, plus a few who've had the suction cup crack or a unit die in a brutal winter. REDTIGER's support keeps showing up in those stories, replacing mounts and units for free well past the warranty window, which for $100-something gadget genuinely matters. The touch model is newer, so there's less long-term track record, though there's one owner who lays it out well. My first unit stopped working about 4 months in, and after a short conversation with their support team, they replaced it at no charge, well past the return window. No pressure, no fight. The replacement has worked fine since. That kind of backing is the reason I don't panic about the odd failure report on either one. Living with the camera day to day is where these two actually split. The touch model gives you a 3.18-inch touchscreen plus voice commands, so you say lock the video and it saves the clip without you fumbling for a tiny button on your windshield. The F7NP, in contrast, is buttons only, and that's a real difference. There's a buyer who ordered it, spent a while frustrated by icons too small to read and 4 buttons doing a dozen jobs, and ended up swapping to the touch version. If you're the type who sets it once and never touches it again, buttons are fine. If you expect to lock clips or change settings while driving, the touch model is the one that doesn't fight you. Parking mode works the same way on both, meaning impact, detection, or time-lapse. And on both, it only runs if you buy the hardwire kit separately. Budget for that if parked car coverage is why you're here, and expect a fiddly afternoon, because the wiring instructions are thin and some owners have needed a second try to get parking mode to actually record. Pulling footage off is the other half of that. Both connect over 5.8 GHz Wi-Fi at up to 20 megabytes a second, which is fast enough to hand a clip to a cop at the scene. Some F7NP owners fight with the connection for months, though, and I've seen fewer of those complaints on the newer model. Card-wise, the touch version bundles a 128 gig card, while the F7NP's included card is smaller and slower, so plan on buying a proper high-endurance card either way, which leaves price. The F7NP is actually the pricier of the two here, and that's the odd part, because the touch model gives you more: the bigger card, the touch screen, and the voice control, for less money. What the F7NP has going for it is years of owners reporting it's still running, and free firmware updates that kept adding features. So one is paying for the longer track record, the other for the better controls and the better bundle. Here's the call. For most people watching this, I'd take the touchscreen version because it hands you more camera for less money, a bigger card in the box, screen controls and voice commands, and there's nothing the other one does better in the footage itself. If you're the driver who mounts it, hardwires it, and forgets it exists until something happens, the F7NP still does that job and has the longer history of surviving in real cars to prove it. But if you can picture yourself saving a clip with your hands on the wheel or digging through settings without pulling over, the newer one wins that easily, and paying less for the privilege settles it. And you, which one would you pick? Let me know in the comments. Links below in the description.